Okay, we have to talk about this book very briefly. I've never watched the movie. I'm talking about American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. I saw this at Barnes & Noble, and I was like, I really need to read this. I don't really like to read classics. Like, to me, it's usually not good, because it's very... I feel like I'm more modern style of writing, but this was actually really, really good. Besides the crazy murdering sprees, insert robot chicken face. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean by that. After I finished reading this, I thought this was very, very good. If you know me, you know I like to read about like bourgeois things. There's a lot of that here. It almost got a little too much because like we would go down all the way to like the ties, the designers of the ties that they were wearing, down to the handkerchiefs, down to the scarves, even the perfume. It was wild. So it ended up getting a little too much with that. And I think that's just part of the character of how like insane he is. Because it would go on and on and on and on. There was a 3-page step-by-step skincare routine. There was this like maybe like 7 pages of like a phone call, which was really, really funny, like a little bit towards the end, towards like the last 100 pages, I think it was. It was really good. Like I really liked that, and I liked that it wasn't very descriptive. I really enjoyed that. It was a lot of dialogue. The only thing that upset me about this was the ending. Like there was a lot of things unfinished. Is he hallucinating this stuff? Is he like just mentally insane and this is not happening? Because I really don't understand. I didn't do any research of this at all. So it's just me, and from what I know from the book, so I have no idea what's going on. Like, did he even commit these murders? Like, is this just going on in his head? Because how did how did his lawyer have lunch with Paul Owen when he killed Paul Owen? Like, I don't understand it. Like, what? Can someone explain to me? I'll probably do research on it later, but I don't get that. Like, I'm really confused. Other than this, the homicidal murders, which were very, very disgusting. I've never read a book like that, like this. So I feel like very, very traumatic. So I'm not used to that. It was a lot. And so that's just that. That's very grotesque and very, very awful. Other than that, the book was good. I do not hate me for this, but I feel like, do not hate me for this, but I feel like if you read the book first and you held it to high regard, and then you see the movie, you're going to be disappointed. I saw the movie literally an hour after I finished reading the book, so everything was fresh in my head. I don't know about you, but the movie was PG-13 for me. If you read the book, the movie is PG-13. And it does not make Patrick Bateman look bad at all, really. Other than, yeah, he has like women's bodies in his closet, and like he killed Paul Owen and, did that to that dog and then did that to that homeless guy. That is just, basically everything in the movie for the most part is directly from the book, but I would have properly adapted it into like maybe a 3-hour movie. I know that's too much, but you do miss out on a lot. Like what you see in his drawings in the movie, he does a lot of that in very descriptive tellings in the book. I know it would have been too much for audiences, but I feel like that's how the movie should have been portrayed. I know it's really gruesome, but he's like the craziest character I've probably ever read. It is really, really maniacal and twisted and horrific. So that's that. I was disappointed by the movie. I feel like if I didn't read the book at all, the movie would have been all right. Like, I can understand why it's a classic. But, like, people don't know, like, what he's actually about. people don't know if you haven't read the book. People say they love American Psycho. Okay, read the book and tell me that too. You're gonna say no. He's insane. Like, completely. The movie was kind of like the Cliff Notes. I don't know how to explain it, but like, the movie to me made zero sense if you didn't read the book first. Does anyone agree with that? Like, the conversations were like half the page of like what actually, the conversations in the movie, like in the scenes, it was like half the page of what happens in the book. It makes no sense. It's just like, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. This actually kind of like sets up the scene and like ends the scene correctly. The movie is just like, it makes no sense. So I recommend you read the book, then watch the movie again, and then you're going to be like, even if you've already watched the movie, and then you're going to be like, oh, okay, I can see what you mean. That's my opinion on that. I don't know what I'm going to read next. Probably The Batman Who Laughs. Maybe. I don't know what else to read for spooky season. I thought this was going to be a good lead up to spooky season. This was the spooky season. I was shocked. So I'd recommend you read this if you can handle really, really, really violent, horrific, disgusting stuff. If you can handle that, I suggest you read it for the spooky season, because this is probably number one. So that's my review. The book is way better than the movie. Sorry, Christian Bale. I think you did good. I think you are good for the character, but they needed more of the book in the movie. Like, things just don't make sense. Does anyone agree?